I'm sorry, I didn't see you there. Let me introduce myself. My name is Aaron Scholz, and welcome to the first episode of my humble little mini-series called No More Stick Figures. Now, if you're watching this, you're here for one reason. You want to learn how to draw. And why wouldn't you? Drawing is our earliest form of visual communication, predating even writing. And everything from painting to photography and even sculpture work can draw their origins from this art form. But I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Despite its long history, everyone starts off a beginner. Don't believe me? Here's a picture I did at age 5. Yeah, I was 5, but that's the point. It took me years to be able to draw the way I do, and to be honest, there are many times when I felt I need to improve or, well, my stuff just isn't good enough. And that's the purpose of this video series. To teach people the basics of illustration so they can go off on their own and develop their own style. So, for all those potential artists and those of you who just want to brush up on the basics, welcome to the first part of No More Stick Figures. Step 0. Before we begin. Now I'm sure you're eager to get right into it, but first things first. We need to establish 3 things you need if you want to learn how to draw. Number 1. Research. What are you going to draw? A simple question, I know, but this really has to be established. There are many different styles of drawing out there, so you need to know what style you're going for. There are 2 major categories I think drawing can go under: realistic and stylized, or cartoony. Now bear in mind, my style kind of waves towards the latter category, as you can probably guess. So that's why I want to cover the basics of illustration, so that you can go off and do whatever style you want. But anyways, whatever style you choose, it's important to try and do some research into how people draw in this style, so that you have a better idea about how you want to draw. When it comes to stylized artwork, I recommend most pop culture related stuff. So things like comic books, animation, video games, etc, etc. Now if you're going for a more realistic style, I recommend looking at traditional artwork, still life drawings, figure drawings. Heck, just observe stuff in real life. It'll help you to draw both realistic and stylized. And don't worry about being short on research material, as like all things, the glorious internet will provide. Number 2. Materials. A craftsman is only as good as his tools. Of course, if you want to draw well, you want to make sure you have the right stuff. But don't worry about it too much. When it comes to drawing, you really only need the basic materials, such as a pencil and pen, pencils for sketching, pens for the final, paper and something to lean on. I recommend either a clipboard or a sketchbook. An eraser for those little mistakes, a sharpener because a dull pencil is the devil, a ruler for those straight lines, and colors if you want to use them. Number 3. Time. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. There is no quick way to get good at drawing. Like anything, the only way to get good at it is to practice, practice, practice. Try to take a small bit of time out every day to try and practice drawing. Even if you're just doodling in a notebook, if you're practicing every day, then little by little, you're helping yourself improve. Okay, now that we have that out of the way, let's get to drawing with Step 1. Basic shapes. Shapes. Shapes are the easiest thing to draw. I mean, they're just shapes. So I don't really think you're going to need much help drawing those. Though that doesn't mean they aren't helpful. In fact, if there's anything to learn to make drawing easier, it's this. Anything can be made from a bunch of basic shapes. Now, this is the part where I'm actually going to get you to try and draw. So if you don't have the right materials with you, pause the video. I can wait. You good? Okay, let's try some examples while you follow along. Now, if you've never done this before, this can seem a bit tricky. So here's a hint. What you're trying to do is to see how simple you can make an object while making sure it keeps its resemblance. Let's start off with this pine tree. In this case, the leaves of the tree become a large triangle, and the trunk becomes a small rectangle. Now you try. Okay, how about this tortoise? Admittedly, it can seem kind of hard when the subject is fairly detailed. So here's another tip. Try breaking down the subject into its individual parts, so it's easier to try and identify them as basic shapes. In this case, it's body parts. The head becomes a small oval, the neck is a slim rectangle, the shell is a much larger oval, and the legs are smaller rectangles with semicircles for feet. Okay, now you try. Hopefully you've started to notice what we're doing here. This is the structural phase of drawing. This is important to learn, as it's very hard to try and make the elements of your drawing look good without a decent structure underneath. Take these 2 drawings I've done for example. one with a structure and one without. Notice the difference? This is also important for understanding how certain parts of your object work in tangent with everything else. If you can understand how each part looks and acts in relation to the object, then you can give those parts the detail that they need, and in tangent, make the drawing a more solid whole. Okay, now it's time for you to try your own hand at this with a little exercise. I'm going to display 5 pictures for 10 seconds each. You can pause the video, of course, if you need more time. Your job is to identify the individual parts of the subject, and then draw the subject as a set of basic shapes. Remember, the point of this exercise is to practice. In fact, there will be a set of annotations above so that you can skip to any one of the 5 subjects you want to, or if you feel like you just want to restart. Okay, the exercise will begin in 3, 2, 1. Now that wasn't too hard now, was it? So, in summary, when you start to draw an object, first try and depict it as a set of basic shapes. This is easier when you break the object down into individual parts, such as body parts. Drawing the object like this will help to give it structure. This also helps to teach you to focus on how each individual part of the object looks in relation to the rest of the object. We're now reaching the end of this humble little video, but before we end, let's discuss the aspect of homework. Now, of course, you can't just rely on doing the stuff in these videos to help you improve your drawing. So, for each video, there will be a set of homework for you to do. Don't worry, it's completely optional. I mean, there really isn't any way I could force you to do it. I'm stuck in a video. However, there is a reward to this. If you do the homework and share it on Facebook or Instagram with the hashtag #NoMoreStickFigures, I will put all of your works in a final video for the entire internet to see. So you can show the world that you've taken the first step to expressing your artistic talents. And those of you who completed and shared the homework from all 3 videos will be rewarded an honorary certificate, proving your dedication to improving your drawing skills. And with that, let's discuss the homework for this video. Your job is to choose 3 separate objects, identify their individual parts, and then draw them as basic shapes. If you're sharing them, you might want to write next to the objects what they are so that we know what they are. And with that, this video draws to a close. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye!